Ah, good morning, everybody. Finally, finally. I got my OBS working, but it's weird. I've like lost all my settings for the stream, so I had to like redo everything, and it's still all weird. I need to. You know what? This will probably do for now. Let's keep it as it is. And I'll add in some stuff. So I need to add in a web browser so you guys can see that. Bear with me. I'm still like fixing everything because everything's broken this morning. So window capture, add source, new source. Anyway, who do we have in the chat? Kalechi, welcome. Cons, welcome. Lotmo Crypto, Othmain, Mido, welcome everybody. So, browser, add source. This one, whoa, too big. We'll put that down here. And change the size of the window. Okay, that'll do. Good morning. Heisenberg, it's Razor, John Dice. Why are alts so bearish? I hate this market. Hey, I think everyone feels that pain right now. I think everybody feels the same way. It is just a very frustrating, a little bit boring kind of market right now. But there's still trades to be had. There is still opportunity out there. And there's still stuff that we can do. And if altcoins are bad, if crypto's bad, if everything's bad at the moment, at least as traders, we do have the option to trade the legacy markets. And they've been pretty decent. They always are pretty decent, even when there's bad price action there. Like you can just take little scalps here and then because there's more liquidity. But yeah, crypto is just like really not doing anything right now of any kind of interest. So we'll go over the charts. We'll have a look at everything there. And yeah, we'll just have a general little catch up with stuff. I'm hoping I can still record a video despite the fact that none of my stuff is really working properly right now. But that should still be okay. The view on this screen is okay. So trading view looks all right. If I add the browser on, that's all weird sized. But, oh no, you know what? That'll do. That'll do. Because then I can look at stuff here. Here. Okay, cool. That works. That's all working. And that's all we really need. Got the banner at the top. And hopefully, right, hopefully this means that I'll be able to start streaming on X soon. It's just I adjusted some settings, or I tried to adjust some settings. It didn't work. And then I had to contact support, and they basically like reset my account, and it got rid of all of my scenes, all of the way that everything was set up on here. So just incredibly frustrating. But hey, at least we are live. I didn't realize until I was about to press go live that there was this issue on the account. So yeah. We got 59 people in here. 10 likes. So let's try and smash that like button up a little bit more. And yeah, then we'll have a look at the market, which just it's just continuation from Friday right now across basically everything. It is ultimate pain. It's like we've going through like the worst part of the bear market for altcoins, that when we had that bear market in 2021, 2022, at least it was just long and sideways. And this is just down, 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 everything. I took a bunch of short positions over the weekend just because I was like, this is looking awful. So I'll cover those in a minute. It was more of that kind of case that I was like, all right, I've got to protect against what's going on here, completely head short. And yeah, I'm back into a load of short positions, just like literally just on my phone, like, okay, we're having a bit of a move up here, just short some stuff. Not even having to think twice, just like click red button, because this market just looks awful. And that's again where we are this morning. You had that ETH BTC bounce that came up. I'll cover that in a minute. It took some highs. I'm expecting Ethereum to get dumpy again. A lot of the altcoins bearish. I shorted NOT. I shorted TON. So I'm short on NOT because it was like, okay, anything that's pumping, I'm just shorting it. Right, that's literally all I'm going to do. It's pumping. This came back into an order block here. Like, okay, I'm shorting that. TON USDT.P. I went into this and I was like, okay, look, we've taken out some highs again. I'm shorting it because it's just the only thing that's pumping, and I think everything's looking like it's gonna crash. I've just had another stop loss get hit on a long that was taken as well. So wow, okay, we really are like, it doesn't even feel like we're dumping. I mean, Bitcoin's just holding steady, but altcoins are just bleeding. So I had a long that was on Tau, which has just been stopped out. So I'm going to have a look at that, because that means that even my nice like buy area that I've been waiting for ages has not really played out. Yeah, there we go. I had a stop on the lows from Friday. This is still an area that I'm looking to accumulate, but I've just been stopped out on this. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Bear market vibes on alts, yeah, for sure. You sold spot. I don't really have spot bags anymore. Yeah, because they're all down. I'm figuring it out. I'm trying to figure out whether we are just in some kind of like big capitulation, or if there's a like a real bigger issue at hand here. Because from what we've seen, I've not really seen the market looking like this ever, where we should be. I mean, look, Bitcoin's still holding within a range here, right? And it's still doing okay. Like Bitcoin, cool, I'm fine with that. But I'm really starting to consider the fact that there may be a real serious change here going on, and that there might not be a way out of it for quite some time. I think the damage that's been done with a bunch of alts is now so bad that it could take the whole of summer to start to like repair that damage. Now, obviously, things can change really, really quickly. But I think with altcoins, I think as soon as I did this thread and I did that video last week or a couple of weeks ago now, and this was after that first drop on Bitcoin, about how I just don't know if we're going to get these favorable conditions for altcoins again anytime soon. And at that point, that's when I was just, okay, I'm just going to consolidate everything and yeah, see what happens next. Now, obviously, things have pulled back a lot more since then, so it was a reasonable decision to take, because I think even since things started to look bad, most stuff's down another 20, 30, 40% from there. So for me, it's just the case of like a lot of this market. I think for altcoins, I think for meme coins, the problem that altcoins have, I'll get into like more TA stuff in a minute, but just a little bit of my vibe check and seeing what's going on. Like I do believe that for Solana and that for meme coins, the bubbles burst, at least for now. So I believe we had a massive bubble with Solana and with memes. And I said this, I said when I believed Solana had topped, and what I was looking for after Solana had topped, and we'll have a look on the Sol chart. I do believe that it topped back in March, and I was taking short positions, and I'm still taking short positions on Sol, and it does look like it's like on the verge of breaking down. I was saying I believe that this market is topped, and I think that we're due for a big cool down on Solana. Now, what I was looking for from that point would be the normal rotation that you would expect to see. It's like, okay, Solana's had its day, meme coins have had their day. Let's look for that rotation back into possibly Ethereum, possibly back into some kind of layer 2s, utility alts, all of those kind of things. But it seems to me that they're all being lumped into the same thing. And this cycle has just been like Solana is the alt leader. Ethereum's done nothing in a similar kind of style that within the last cycle, everyone was maybe expecting like XRP to pump, and it never came back. And some of those older altcoins. So I'm starting to reconsider things like, okay, maybe it is just everything here just has one cycle and then it's done, and then it just underperforms forever from that point onwards. And yeah, it's a similar thing with what we're seeing from Ethereum, and just the problems that the whole market has with the like insane hyperinflation across the entire crypto ecosystem right now. So yeah, problems, very like actual fundamental problems for probably the first time that I've seen it within crypto. So we are facing fundamental issues within crypto, and it has been since Solana topped, essentially. Those fundamental issues are still playing out, and they're still a problem. But anyway, I still think like long term we're looking okay, but I think some of those problems need to get sorted out first of all. Let's look at the chat, because I'm like, this is fun. Like, I don't know why I'm. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I just think this morning I'm not feeling like we're looking like very bouncy. I think it's looking pretty bearish right now, and we'll see where that takes us over the next few days. Do more on base as well if you're feeling a little doom and gloom. I mean, base chain has just been a complete disaster. Like, again, fundamental issues, a complete disaster. Like everything's a scam on base, everything. And this is supposed to be like Coinbase doing something good, but like literally there's nothing. I don't think there's anything on base that's like gonna last, right? You look at an altcoin that's been made on base, can you imagine anything on there like coming back, like lasting the next 6 months? Probably not. It's been a like complete disaster. Blast network, complete shit show. Mode, disaster. Optimism has not been very optimistic. It's the what's been agreed, what's been released on there has been a disaster. Solana's turned into a disaster. So, bought some spot alts because everyone is bearish. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. You can, but wait for a turnaround. Like for me, I'm just waiting for some strength now. I'm waiting to see where the market's going to show us a little bit of strength and that it has some life again. Because when you look at stuff like we look at Doge, USDT, I think that's made another new low almost this morning. Like it's holding out okay, and I think long term I'm still very very bullish on this, but I think I'm speaking of like a bearish bias for some other stuff. Anyway, I don't know. Let me look at the comments. I'll start speaking a bit more technically and having a look at some stuff in a minute. Shorty, you never see me be this bearish. See, this is probably the thing. This is probably why we should be bullish right now. And when we see some strength, it can switch. And it's a, like, remember when we were back in October and it was the, like, of last year, September, October of last year, things were looking really bad then, but then you just need a moment. I think the market just needs one moment that it can find some kind of trigger, and then things start to look a bit better. But that's for me right now. I'm waiting for that moment, because the moment could, like, we could still keep doing this before that moment comes that we do this, and then we're looking okay again. Every time right now we get like just there's just nothing really to suggest that we're getting that reversal. So when that moment comes, be prepared for it, because I think what we'll see is a move from like Bitcoin that starts to take out some of these highs and everything. But for right now, I mean, it's still highly likely, I think, that we're going to see another drop down of a few more percent on some stuff. But yeah. Stratus, agree about base, but their activity metrics are all-time high. Yeah, but it's not real. I think that's what we need to understand right now, is that on base, it's not really real. It's just base. It's just Coinbase throwing in fake liquidity, and it's not actually real, like, activity. It's just kind of wash trading stuff. Base equals America equals global confusion. Yeah, I need to actually, I need to look up a bit more about Base, but I think the problem, obviously, like, Base has a big problem that it doesn't really have a token, so it's not really got anything you can measure against, and like, it's just ETH essentially, and that's then causing problems for ETH. So you've essentially, like, the thing about Ethereum, right, is the high fees had a purpose, and the reason why fees are are higher on Ethereum is it makes that blockchain more secure. It encourages less of the sort of problems that we've been seeing on Solana, where it's so cheap and so quick to trade, and it's so cheap and easy to make a token and to do all of these kind of things, and you end up with just scams everywhere, because if you can print money from thin air and not have to pay a penny to do that, then people are going to do that. And then what Base has done is it's then created that same problem on Ethereum, is that now people can essentially create tokens on Ethereum, even though it's on Base, for nothing. So what incentive is there for people, like, not to scam? And that's, yeah, like the fees were actually a good thing because it meant that there could be some sustained, because people aren't going to want to sell as much or as often, or they're not going to want to just keep flipping and rugging and doing all of this kind of shit when there's slightly higher fees involved and when it actually makes a difference to what you're doing. But it will sort itself out eventually, I am sure. Right, we got 75 people in here, 22 likes. Let's hit the like button up a little bit more, and let's see if I can do a little bit of TA. I'm going to brighten things up because the technicals, when we do settle down here, the technicals overall are looking like they could turn this week, maybe. And when they do start to turn, I think we can see quite a quick movement, but it's not looking good right now. Alright. Okay, I'm going to do my... Yeah, do I do my BTC analysis right now? And have a little look. Or do we just have a little bit more of a look on here? Okay. I'm going to add BTCD onto this. Oh my god, this moved down. Pump today. I mean, Monday is usually the pump day. But Bitcoin moving down with Bitcoin dominance moving up. Not good. ETH, I need to update my chart. It's a weekly level. And let's put on weekly open. Oh, the pain of just dumping all day on a Monday. ETH BTC. That daily FVG will hold. There's also previous quarter value area high and previous month view up. Yeah, there's absolutely reason to believe that, like, it's not like, I'm not saying we're going to be going to 50k or 40k. I think that's very unlikely. But yeah, I'm going to do the video. I'm going to do the video update and make it a wee bit more neutral, because it is pretty neutral for Bitcoin at least. I just think altcoins are looking terrible still. But yeah, we'll focus on Bitcoin and we'll then see what else is going on. So, video time. Right. My hair's, I really need a haircut. Like every time it's like, it goes into my face and I'm like, okay, there you go. Looking a bit more normal, human, something. Hello traders, welcome to today's Bitcoin and crypto update. And yeah, we start the day off with a bit of a move down after what was a pretty bearish week last week, we are starting the week off in not the best way, especially considering that recently Mondays have been the day that have been at least giving us a bit of a green candle to start the week before we see that reversal. Now, is the fact that for the first time in a long time we are seeing a Monday drop kind of bullish, because what we have seen previously is Mondays are green and then the rest of the week is red, and that's been a case for a while now, and we are seeing this drop so far on Monday. But yeah, when we look at this, actually, I'm going to re-record this video because that's a terrible video, and Bitcoin and ETH BTC is dropping. Right, I can't even concentrate because everything's dumping. Oh my god. Let's try again. Let's try again on the video update, and then we'll have a proper look. Okay, hello traders, welcome to today's video. Monday, the 17th of June, 2024, and yeah, starting the week off with a bit of a move down here on Bitcoin. So where we are locally, we're still at the midpoint of this entire range, essentially. So if we look from our low to our high, we are still consolidating around this midpoint of the entire range. What we have seen previously, and this is for the majority of the year so far, is that Mondays have tended to be our more bullish days. And then at least recently, we've had this situation where we get this move up on a Monday, and then we just get a big move down for the majority of the rest of the week. It's very similar to what we saw last week, where we had that spike up on Monday, which took some local highs. The rest of the week was bearish. The Monday before that was a nice pump on the Monday, and then the rest of the week was a move down. I believe even the Monday before that was a nice move up on the Monday, and then, okay, we were at a decent reversal at that point. But on this occasion, starting off with quite a bearish move here, at least locally, with BTC struggling to hold around that support that it had managed to sustain over the weekend and after the bounce that we've had on Friday. Now, if we're looking at the levels here, we are just a little bit in the middle of nowhere. So it has been kind of holding this anchored VWAP from the low, and it's done something fairly similar to what we saw from our previous lows, but on a lower time frame. So if we look at the last pivot, right, where we had back in January of this year, feels like it was a long time ago, where there was this correction, it was holding this anchored VWAP, it then dropped below it for a little while, and then reclaimed, and then was consolidating before this move up, which never went and took the highs. Okay, you would still be expecting with a trending move like this for it to get continuation, and that isn't what we have seen. So often when you have these big trending moves, you would expect like that continuation of the trend. So as long as we're holding this VWAP for now, this could still like consolidate back here, and you would be looking for that continuation higher. However, what we've seen on these lower time frames is something kind of similar, right? We had the low that was put in back on the 1st of May, decent bounce, consolidation around there, and then you're holding, you move below it slightly, and I do think we could go a little bit deeper, a little bit lower still here, but then, yeah, a reclaim and then continuation on for what we hope would be to start to take some of the highs above where price is right now. So from that perspective, okay, the price action is looking relatively similar. Like I know back here people were getting really quite bearish that things were going to be going a lot lower, and we're in a similar situation right now where I think there's a lot of fear within the market. There is, yeah, just a lot of bearish sentiment around, and it's hard to get over that because prices are reflecting that bearish sentiment for the time being. And as long as we are still moving down here, at least from Bitcoin and especially on the altcoins, I do believe that we could still be seeing slightly lower before we see any major recovery here. So where I am looking at, and this has been the target for a while since this started to break down, even like a couple of weeks ago, there was the short position that was taken from up here, where it came and took the highs, didn't do it on spot, but did do it on perps. So I still do believe at some point the market comes and takes out these highs. But then, yeah, since last week when we had the lack of strength from what has been fairly bullish news, like inflation coming down, and all of those kind of things, none of these moves were sustained throughout last week. And yeah, I have been targeting a move down to the 64k area since then. So we had a bounce off of 66. Now what that did was take out some local lows here. So of course we had this upper half of the range and around that POC. And what I was looking for was for like, okay, it's fine if we drop down here, but what we've got to do is recover immediately and then go on and take these highs. It hasn't happened. We now see this consolidation below essentially what we would have considered as support. So when you look at this range and you kind of split it up, you have what was, at least for like the last month or so, or a couple of months here, we had this resistance. You flip it into support, testing that a bit. And now we're almost caught back within this lower half of the range again here. So when you draw the channel, we are below that 50% mark. Okay, we're below the point of control at this stage. And it's starting to come into this area of low volume, which, as long as we are below here, you would expect all of this area to fill out a little bit more. So I am looking for this continuation at this stage lower to take us down towards that 63 to 64k area. So at the moment, like, no, it has been a change over the past couple of weeks. I thought that we may be able to hold here and get that move up. I still considered this area very likely to get hit, but for my own kind of strategy was that we would take out all-time highs again first. We had the deviation below the lows of the range. I was then expecting a deviation at the highs, and then I was looking for this move down, and then maybe like that is a long drawn out bearish kind of summer, and then we come back Q3, Q4 of this year. However, we never took the highs, obviously, and we find ourselves coming down here straight away. Now, overall, I don't think that's a bad sign. I think that actually dealing with this imbalance that's on the chart, dealing with this 63 to 64k area, if it can, and if it holds around here, maybe coming down to that value area low, holding around here, is actually more bullish in the long term, because what that means is that then everything within this range is just, or at least for now, all right, we don't know what could happen next. It could come down here, immediately create these big gaps again and go for the highs, and then we still have to come back and sort them out. But if we do see just a long, grinding, painful, slow bleed down into support that gradually gets recovered, I do think that that could lead us towards a very strong breakout later on, towards the end of summer, like I say, Q3, Q4 of this year. So I think that's more where I'm leaning towards at the moment, is just a bit of a wasteland for now. I think there's been too much damage done, especially with altcoins, to be expecting an immediate recovery from this. And I think that bleed could just, it's just that like long, slow, painful death that is the most difficult thing within the market, until we see some spark from somewhere. So if we're looking at levels below, it is very, very clear. Okay, it's that 64 to 60k, 63 region. And then we have confluence down there with the value area low of our range. And at some point, I do think if we are going to go into this gap, it will fill all of it, and we will find that it has some acceptance within this order block that we have below there. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to come back down and we're going to go back below 60 again, we're going to go back below 56k again, but I do feel that if we are to come down here, it could be one of these where we just end up just chopping around for a long time and gradually just managing to reclaim that range afterwards. So those are the levels below, and other than that, there's not a whole lot that we really need to be looking at in terms of support. Now, if this does reverse here, which it could do, okay, if we look at where this is, it has come down into an area where, right, and I'll show on the order flow in a minute, there are long positions and there was initiative to move this higher and to get that continuation higher, and the fact that we haven't come down into this gap could be, if we do start to see some strength and if it can get sustained, could actually be really nice, because there's long positions defending this zone, and we can see that there was clear initiative to push this price higher. As of yet, we're still just holding within, I guess, this bigger range that's going on, right? We are at the low still of this range, and we could still be seeing that move back towards the highs. Now, locally, the other problem that we've got is that we do just keep testing back into points of control and back into clean up any imbalance that's within this downtrend, and then we do eventually end up going lower. So from a TPO perspective, what we can see, so this is still on the Bitcoin chart, but I've just cleaned it up and just showing you the TPO here, is that for each move down that we have, all right, there is then a move up that comes back in to test the point of control and also to clean up any imbalance that has been left behind. So you see here a gap, single prints that was created on the move down. You then have a rise that comes back into the point of control. It then drops again. Okay, and then what does that leave? It leaves a point of control around here. What has happened over the weekend is there has been a move up perfectly back into that point of control there at 67k. Okay, and then once again we are seeing that drop lower. So last week, all right, there was the big move down, and even back here, okay, you had this. Well, this was the FOMC stuff. So this is a lot of the stuff we could start looking at if there is to be a reversal. But yeah, at least from last week, it moved down, creates imbalances, test the point of control, drop lower, and then we're coming back in, filling the imbalances, test the point of control, and as of yet, so far, dropping lower. So we do have some support. There is a naked volume POC. Now, on that Friday evening from last week, there was clearly a lot of volume that accumulated around those lows. Okay, this being around 65,450. So if there is to be a move down into this high volume node, then that could potentially give us a bounce. If the market is to do, I guess, on these lower time frames, what it did on these higher time frames with everyone expecting the lows to be taken, but they're not, that could be an area to start to look at. So if I take off the TPO here and just let's add on the session volume profile, because you can see that a little bit clearer. And also, let me do this on the Coinbase chart. We can see the volume that had accumulated down there. If it's going to load up. There we go. So there is your POC. It was a very clear volume point of control down here around about that 65,450 area. So maybe this holds. And as you can see, like previous POCs, they have been tested, and this could hold and get a decent bounce here. It would be an area in which you could start to target some long positions with an invalidation at this low, because realistically, the value for there to be shorts taken right now is not really there unless you'd caught a short on like Sunday or very early this morning when there was a little bit of a spike up, wasn't there? There was. So on your weekly open, you have a bit of a spike up and then you just drop down, and then surprise, surprise, it's that VWAP that's just holding price down here. If you are to look for these positions, then the long would make a little bit of sense here. Okay, so if you're looking for that long from like 65,450, like I say, and we're looking at that low to hold, then you could start to maybe think about it taking out some of these highs. But I think from a probability perspective, it still seems fairly low here. And what I would probably prefer to do is to miss the first move, okay, to accept that this is maybe a little bit sketchy. But then if you do see a reclaim, okay, you're going to have nice levels to work off of. Weekly open, then you've got a decent invalidation down here, and then you've seen that recovery from the market, you've seen that strength, you've seen that reversal, which would then give you more confidence in which to get into a trade. Because what we seem to be doing right now is just getting opportunities to take long positions, and then the market just takes it out, and then it just runs stops, it just ends up liquidating people, and we just keep on going lower. And the higher probability is, I would say, is still that we do go down into this 64 to 63k zone at this stage, unless we see some recovery from this. So as I keep saying, these things can change very, very quickly. All right, the market was, just looking back to Friday the 7th of June, the market was very bullish. I'm sure everyone's portfolio was looking great back then. All right, and then literally within the space of an hour, okay, you could have gone from like plus 20-30% unrealized P&L or something, a load of long positions looking great, and then it just disappears. And that's how quickly these things can change. We didn't take the highs on all exchanges, especially on Coinbase here. So we do have that double top up here. Are we going to see a situation where it's just as weird at the lows, where we have maybe, we can be looking at this as a bit of a double bottom, and then we can come back down and we can still make a very marginally higher low, and then suddenly we get this reversal that takes us back to the highs again? It is that kind of market right now where it's so thin, there's so few people trading this, that it is just in the hands of people and that have a lot more money than us. We can't really affect this market right now, and we've just got to react to what is given to us when it happens. So we're in that kind of environment where literally, anything can happen. Anything can happen. If we have a quick look on the order flow, and we have a look over here, if I just change this, we can have a look at the ETF. Of course, there was small outflows again from the ETFs, which, I mean, given what we'd seen last week, nothing too scary. This is pretty normal. Small outflows over there. We do now have an increasing spot premium, which would suggest that this overall is a good area to be buying for the long term, right? But what we saw previously is that this can and likely will play out for quite a while, okay, where we had this just long accumulation down here at these lows, and maybe this something similar could play out where we do just have this type of situation play out, which eventually I'm very, very confident does lead to a move up, all right, and a breakout towards 80k, 90k, 100k. I'm very confident it doesn't lead to that, but this pain, at least short term to medium term, over the next few weeks or so, until we see something decisive like we saw at the beginning of May, where we had that big reversal, like we saw back in October of last year, Until we see that kind of event, then yeah, it's just much of the same kind of price action. Now, another reason that could be a little bit more bullish, but again, it does mean bullish with a slightly longer view on this, is that throughout this entire range, okay, we have been seeing an increase in net short positions and a decrease in net long positions. And we are seeing that on this move down, the open interest has been cooling off somewhat, suggesting that longs are getting to that point where they're completely fed up. And it is just this continuous, okay, CVD is creating these bullish divergences. Net longs are down, net shorts are up. When this does start to squeeze, and it will do at some point, okay? This doesn't mean that we're going to 50K, we're going to 40K. No. I think the worst case scenario, we go down to like low 60s. But at some point, right, when this starts reversing, it can be a very quick reversal. And it means that there'll be a lot of short positions on the wrong side of the market. And it means that we're likely to see a clean break of all-time highs at last, which then will get continuation towards 80, 90, 100K without looking back before we start to go into another range, maybe a little bit like we've seen so far. So far this summer, this spring/summer. Yeah, overall, I don't think there's anything more to say here. When we do look at news this week, it's a very, very quiet week. So we just have the typical unemployment claims on Thursday. There is a bank holiday on Wednesday. Is that Juneteenth day or something? Why there's a bank holiday on Wednesday in the US? That's a weird day. But something along those lines. And then there's some retail sales news coming out as well. So yeah, a bit of a quiet news week. Not many catalysts to spark something, but what that means is we could see something from within the crypto industry and outside of the macro, like big Fed news. There could be something within the crypto industry, like an ETH ETF, for example, that could give a spark that may see a recovery. But overall, yeah, news is quiet, so expecting fairly low volume across the board, and maybe just a bit more of this bleed that we have been seeing recently. So on that note, I think that's probably everything I have to say. So yeah, short term bear / neutral, because we are at the lows of the range. I just don't see an opportunity for a long position right now. But long term, I still think, yeah, we're fine. We just got to ride this out. And if we do have to ride it out for the whole summer, so be it. Gives us more time to accumulate some nice spot bags, some nice positions for what I do believe will be a very bullish Q3, Q4 this year. Thank you very much for watching. Let's hope very soon there'll be more fun, excitement, bullish market updates to come. But I am going to wrap it up there, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Bye-bye. Okay, there's that Bitcoin video recorded. I am going to, because I had quite a big cup of coffee this morning. I'm going to be back in like 30 seconds. I need to pee. still just holding here, aren't we? And if this MPOC gets hit, that could be an interesting reaction. Okay, let's get drunk. Market is boring. It's a Monday morning, man. It's a Monday morning. We're not that crazy. BG, we need a positive meme Gestapo to collect and flag bad wallets and X accounts, Warpcast, etc. Yeah, I mean, when you look at, we can talk a bit more about the fundamentals of stuff. Like, I'm not too clued up about it. I just know, yeah, from the research that I've done. And again, if you haven't watched this video that I released, oh, phew. I keep getting these like, I keep getting these exchange alerts, and I'm like, oh my god, is that another stop being hit from something else that is like, I just have stops placed on these Friday lows for a few things, for any of the longs that I did take on Friday, but luckily it wasn't. It was just an exchange, a new exchange listing. RIP Tensor. Yeah, I mean, Tau still looks okay. Doge as well, just about holding on here. Let's just have a look. Let's have a look at some of these alts that were looking like decent opportunities the other day. Because although as a trade, initially that one hadn't worked out, and I did, just because I do want to be, this is the other thing, I think this is another thing to consider, is because there's so much caution right now from a lot of traders. Like, I myself took a long on Tau the other day, and because I'm trading with a lot of caution when it comes to longs, I am keeping those stop losses relatively tight, and I think that's what continues to lead to this just this cascading effect, is because that's it. Like, until you get a move like that where it gives some space, right? It gives something, like you saw here, and you break up and you come up here. Like, the better opportunity to take longs is not trying to catch a knife, because as long as we're still in these downtrends, this could still just keep doing this. Yeah. But if you were to see a situation where this goes, all right, cool, we're holding here, boom, and then it starts holding, and you've created some space, that could then be the thing that you could bid into, because you're not going to have those like real cautious stop losses that are very close to price. You're going to have stops that are much lower, and it's going to cost a lot in order to get price to go back down to those levels again. So then you go to the path of the least resistance, which, especially if you clear a POC, would be a big reversal back to the upside. But as with everything, we just have to wait for these this spark, this catalyst from somewhere. Lucifer took too long from Friday's stream at the wick low. Sat nicely all weekend long in the green. Position was never in the red. Today about to get liquidated on low leverage. Up. Yeah, because they're big percentage swings as well. So how much is Tau down? Down 7% today so far. Sad Americans had to destroy the standard of living all because of a guy who is arrogant. Yeah, I mean, the erosions of the standard of living have been ongoing for a very long time. It's Razor. I mean, if we're bullish, you usually get a weak low on a Monday or Tuesday, no? Open low, high close high. Yes. Yeah, so I did touch upon that. I hope I made that quite clear that for the last few weeks where we have had really bad weeks overall, Monday has put in the high of the week and then we've just crashed for the rest of the week. So we go back to Monday from... So last week, Monday put in the high of the week, and then boom, straight down. We go to Monday here. Okay, Monday, then there was, yeah, you did have a move down on the Tuesday, Wednesday. We had this one here was a Monday. So Monday put in the high of the week, and then poof, down. So... we'll see if there is to be a Monday that comes down here. I think that could lead to a reversal. But yeah, I think once it's down here, it's going to be difficult to get back into a situation where you're really bullish again. So long drawn out grind could take us through the rest of the summer, which actually would be great. I'd quite like that. It would be nice just to have a quiet summer. And the lower things go, the cheaper they become. Because what you can do is if you're just patient on stuff and you're not buying stuff early, you may have had a chart that had been up, and then we're going through this retrace, and you're like, oh, okay, this could be a good time to buy. And then a lot of people buy it, and then it goes lower, and they buy more, and then it goes lower, and then they buy more, and then it goes lower, and they just keep on getting more and more and more and more and more and more and more underwater with no way out. However, the nice thing about it is when you do eventually, if you're just patient on this, when you do eventually get that pop that starts to take out some of this stuff when everyone has finally capitulated, is you're getting opportunities to enter lower at where seemed like a really, really good opportunity previously. So you don't really need to knife catch. You just need to stay patient and wait for the point in which the market starts to show us some strength again. And often it's quite easy to spot that. You go back to October last year. That was the moment in which we saw, okay, we'd been just chopping, and I think maybe the summer could look a little bit like this, all right, where we're just very much sideways for a long time. And then once you have that pop out of it and you start to hold without retracing the move, once you get one of these pumps that doesn't retrace and it just holds and holds and holds, that's the time in which to be like, right, okay, this is looking really good. And then you can get in for this big ride like we had through the end of last year and the early stages of this year. Where would have been your invalidation on Friday's wick low? Because your logical stop loss would have been today's potential SFP. Yes, it would have been. Yeah. But what I was the SFP could still happen here, yeah? You could still come back and close a 4-hour candle above these lows, if this is on Tau, for example, and we probably take a lot of altcoins into that a lot of altcoins doing something similar. Okay, Doge hasn't taken the low yet, but yeah, we could be seeing that. But the thing is, you you kind of have to place a stop loss down there. If you're trying to knife catch, you just accept that, because what you may get is that, right, this low could have then had a really decent bounce and a decent reversal, and then it just then creates a higher low somewhere. So as long as you're going in with like low risk, then it's not too bad. But I'm happy to take a trade like this in a two goes. So you have a go on some leverage, see if it plays out. No, you get stopped, but then okay, maybe there's an SFP play here, maybe there's something else. Whilst I was recording this video, Ethereum BTC did hit my alert. So, ETH could be the play. More so than anything else. Right now. ETH could be the one. So you got a little single print there. I might clean this chart up. Start fresh. Nah. Nah, I'm going to keep it on there. What was this? It was a 4-hour gap. Monthly open's worth keeping on the chart. Weekly open. Weekly level, nah. That daily level, nah. 50% retrace. A nice little double toppy type of thing where there is some money in there. I like to do that. Market is down because our savior lost his fight yesterday. Who's our savior and what fight? Oh, what? BitBoy? It was a crypto fight night, wasn't it? The London one. Did he lose? Did BitBoy lose? Who was he fighting? I don't remember. Just looking at this, because your CVD locally is kind of interesting. I was going to mention this on the video update, but we're already having that move down. Basically, earlier on, right, this was something that got me really bearish in the first place. Now, if we zoom in, there's no like candle replay here, but look at this, right? So here's your CVD on spot and perps. And earlier on, right, we had this like low, high being put in on perps. So there was this attempt to bounce at 66,000. And you had real good like perps buying here, but price wasn't able to break. Spot was continuing to sell, and just this continuous negative delta on spot. So you had that bearish divergence that started to form. And then what happened after that? Okay, you come down and you take the lows again. And another situation here where we have something a little bit similar. You actually have some CVD weakness on this one. So bears losing momentum. So if this is one of those just Monday morning shakeouts, this could be something to watch. So you had, but you want to see spot pick up. You want to see this blue line start to pick up if we're going to get a decent reversal underway. But as like a little Monday morning shakeout where you have the bearish divergence that immediately then flips into a bullish divergence here and could potentially start to see a rise back up towards these highs. Worth noting. And we get that Bitcoin dominance that's kind of nice. So ETH BTC did take out these lows, right? ETH BTC is going to be much more important to chart, I think, now, because there are markets that you can trade ETH BTC USD. So you can trade this chart with USDT collateral. Means there's going to be more more interest on it, and it could start to become quite a lot more technical. Because there'll now be a lot more arrows that are just like working with, depending on what this chart's doing, trading that chart and also trading ETH and Bitcoin. So yeah, if we're going to get a savior, if we're going to get something here, ETH could be the one that leads it. $8:30 news today for futures. It's manufacturing index. Does that move markets? I don't know. It is red folder, yeah. Empire State Manufacturing Index. When was the last one? Let's look at maybe what it did to... let's put the NQ on here. NQ... wait, what am I doing? How's you looking now? We got better liquidity on this contract now? Yes. New NASDAQ contract's looking much cleaner now. And now this one's looking scrappy. Okay, so I can get rid of my M contracts on the NQ. Finally. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. So if anyone's trading the NASDAQ, now is the day to be switching over to NQU, which is the September contract on, and that's for NASDAQ for ES. Everything is the September contract now, so make your switch. September contract looks good. Yes, hit the likes, everybody. Smash the like button. What was I looking at? Empire Manufacturing Index, right? So last time that was 15th of May 2024. So 15th of May 2024. Let's go to NQ normal. 15th of May. Oh, there was a big drop. Let's go back here. So, where is it? 15th of May. What? Wait, I thought there was a big drop. Maybe not. What's going on? It would have been 12:30. Okay, so this had a pump. So this was the manufacturing index last month, which missed by a mile, but still, I don't know. Maybe some volatility. Usually comes to grab data highs too after a good take profit. Yeah, I mean, any news wicks that are created later on, you'd expect those to then get taken, whether it's a move up or a move down. You just would expect those to get taken, which is why I still have my FOMC wick marked on this chart, because that FOMC day, right, you did just down and then it never came and took the wick high. So when we had FOMC, right, we had immediate drop. There was then that recovery, and if it had done this, right, and then dropped down, you wouldn't really necessarily need to be looking at that as being important anymore. But it was just a move down that then got continuation, right? So that is still there on my chart, and that's still an important level to be aware of. So if price does come back up here, right, and it will be acting as a magnet for price. And then what do we have just above that is we have this double top. So like I say, things can change very quickly. I think as soon as you start to take out some of these highs, like if it can do so and hold, yeah, wow. Then that's that. It's like we saw with the CPI the day before, because this was the CPI data that we had on the day before, right? You created this move that was just a straight move up. The market went back to collect it immediately. So it's there on my chart, that FOMC day. But because it wasn't completely like one-sided, like the CPI and FOMC is a bit different. It's like drawn out. You have the rate, and then you have the statement, and then you have the big like press conference afterwards. It's a bit of a more drawn out thing, but it's still there to be. Make sure you know where it is. That high that was put in the other day. Are you long, Mihai? I am in a Bitcoin long that I've held since the lows, and I've compounded a couple of times, but I'm not adding any more long exposure right now. The only thing I consider like long ETH, but then you've got to use the lows that we've just put in this morning as the invalidation. See how ETH gets along. If there is to be something that can drag this out, what we've seen from Ethereum this morning could be it. But it's still like straight line down right now. And this could bounce all the way up to here. We could get a bounce of like almost like 2% and still be kind of bearish on the day. Yeah. So the reason for this, okay, you've got this little point of control down here. You had a small imbalance on the chart. Was this all 1 hour? Yeah, 1 hour. But ultimately, I mean, you're looking at some better levels down here, aren't you, really? Realistically. But yeah, ETH's hanging on in there for now. Chilling around that point of control, chilling around that 0.5 of this entire range. Similar to what Bitcoin's doing, but whereas Bitcoin's a little bit weaker right now with where it is. ETH, because it's had a bigger pullback this morning, and that BTC pair's come into a decent area, could be one to watch. Do you think they'll take the weekend top? Where would you have to get to say that this is... I mean, it doesn't look great. Like, Bitcoin still looks terrible. Shorts were still the play. This is the thing, like... This is what I was saying. I was away over the weekend. I was with family. But because I knew I had some long exposure, I literally just opened a few charts on my phone over the weekend. I was like, short. And don't feel like I really need to close those right now. Let's take a look. These are the shorts I've got. I know they weren't even like good entries. So they were just, I need to be shorting some stuff because the market looks really bad. It was just that kind of thing. And because the market looks really bad, it's like, you just short. But yeah, I got this one on Not, which I opened on June the 15th at night, see. So this was at 2.069. But it wasn't particularly technical. 2.069. It was all the way down here, so I think it was already when we were it was starting to drop. But I just spotted this. I was like, you know what? This is up way too much. I'm shorting it. And because I'd had this short on this previously, yeah, and then I closed out of that short, I just wanted it again. Yeah, I'd shorted it once. It played out well. So then I was just like, yeah, short it again. Why not? I could take profit on this here because actually, this was the reason why I closed this previously, because it was of this view app. We were watching this on a live stream, and this was looking really quite clean. So yeah, actually, I might close this. I am going to close this short. And I could I could consider a long. This is how quickly you can change your mind on stuff. Because with Not, like, I took the short position and I was like, you know what, actually no, this is done. It's done enough. Yeah, I'm closing this short position. I'm paying myself on that. That's done. That's plenty. Done. I've made some profit today. Hooray. And then Ton. Ton was the other one I'm short on. Might do the same. Might take profit on those. My entry on Ton is worse. That actually... I'm going to keep holding this, I think, for now. Because my entry is like still below $8. So I got this. So I'm short from... Again, like I just did this on my phone. I hadn't even charted it. I was just like, short this shit. I don't like it. Short it. So I'm short. Let's TA a trade that I'm in and didn't even think about. I just blindly shorted it. Where was it? June 15th, 22. This is what you can do when the market just looks awful. Just be like, yep, sure, cool. So 9, what kind of entry is this? Am I going to need just to close this? There's my entry. Ultimately, I think Ton's worthless, so let's dump it all the way down there, right? Because I think it's a shitcoin. Like I believe it's a shitcoin, so why not just drop it all the way back down here to like $3? But then again, no, that's fine. I can still hold this. I'm not going to wait for that. Let's like take it down here somewhere. No, I can hold it for that. I can. Because you've got... Yeah, this is going to drop. If that's the top, then I can hold this short all the way down to $3. But I will at some point close it. But yeah, I don't really see anywhere in between. This could just keep going higher, so that's why I've got a stop loss in place. But if I'm not stopped, I may as well just hold it as a short still. Look at Tao. This little fucker stopped me out, and then it was back above. I'm gonna have to re-enter here somewhere. Maybe. TP is 0. Hey, I mean it worked on Luna. It worked on Luna. You know what I'd love is if Solana went to 0 and I have that short position on Solana from the all-time high still. I could just be like, told you so. If the SEC comes out and it's just like, yo guys, crypto, what's going on here? Like, you're doing like 300,000 tokens a day, and 99.9 of them are scams. We are making Solana illegal in the States. That would be crazy, right? Could they do that? Is that even a thing? Could that happen? This is something else that was looking decent the other day. EGLD. There, it ain't looking so decent no more. Yeah, could that happen? Let's go, because I mean, if Luna could go to zero, then so can Sol. uh, I'd have to look into this. Maybe I'm going to play on this theory. This is just a random brainwave, random thought. But if all these celebrities, and they keep scamming people, right? And yeah, I know there's a bit of money to be made on meme coins, but the vast majority, more so than there's ever been the case in crypto before. If the vast majority of things being launched are scams, could they simply go, no, you got to turn this, you got to, like, could they make Solana illegal? This is is that even humanly possible? I don't know. I'm probably talking nonsense. Although it's still holding this like meme trend line as well. You heard the Pope wants to drop a coin on Solana. Yeah, fuck this Solana. But then again, like, I think maybe were people saying the same shit about Ethereum when that first came out? Because I got into crypto through Ethereum, and I was a noob when Ethereum was going through its big run in 2017, and there was that all the massive like ICO hype, and all of the influencers at the time then were getting into ICOs early, and most of those were scams. But the thing is, then there were maybe like 2 or 3 tokens launched every day, and it was like, it wasn't easy for just the average person to make a token and to scam, or like a celebrity or something like that. It was still very early days. So maybe Solana's just there because obviously Ethereum's cleaned up its act. Like, China banned ICOs, and that messed with Ethereum for a long time. So America could ban meme coins. Could make it illegal. Trump could say that every Solana trader is a terrorist and national security danger. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Easiest way to trade crypto is your bank telling you to F off with your crypto exchange rules. Yeah. Yeah, that would suck. Especially for me. Like, if that happened, I mean, probably all of us here are homeless. Like, it just make us all homeless in an instant. I honestly, I pay for, this my only income. My only income is trading. That's all I have. Where I live, there are plenty of banks that don't accept crypto withdrawals. Only a handful are accepting it. Yeah, so I used to have problems with some banks. shorty. I wish. Do you want to know? Like, I can tell you right now. Let's have a look. My bank account statement. I don't like. I do not hold anything in a bank. I mean, I probably need to make another withdrawal today. Because I like literally nothing. I don't make anything in normal human money. Apart from like the odd with like props and stuff like that. But that goes straight onto bills and rent. All that kind of thing. And just living a life. No, my bank's not even loading. Sato's liquidation is 64,046. Your bank is built on Solana. Yeah. It is. Fortunately, if that does see, that's I don't like Revolut. Don't really like crypto withdrawals either. It's certainly not Coinbase. Revolut and Coinbase don't get along very well at all. Man, I'm talking too much about the establishment. The feds are going to get on my ass and start being like, hey, yo, you. What you doing? What Forex do you normally watch? Do you do any gold or other trading? I trade NQ. So with legacy markets, I'll trade the NASDAQ. That is it. I need to do some new levels on this because we got new data. So yeah, I trade the NASDAQ. I will occasionally trade the ES, the S&P 500. Other than that, that's it. Like stocks, swing trades for stocks. No Forex. Never Forex. Although, like, technically I probably could do some Forex. Like, right now, I wonder if Forex would work. Maybe I can trade Forex one day. I'd short this. Short the euro. But only if it, yeah. Yeah, I'd short this. Hey, if I was trading Forex, I'd be in a trade like this right now. Pop. If the euro's looking dumpy, see, there's so much like tension in Europe and France especially, isn't there right now? So that's going to be helping the DXY. Yeah. So Dixie's going to be moving up because of all this tension that's in France. And that's not good for risk assets, especially Bitcoin. Trump Jr. was on Spaces the other night with Andrew Tate and others talking about using meme coins to troll the Democrats in the coming election campaign, so political memes will run. But But will they? Like, if oh my God. Will they not have just, if they're on there saying that, and this is like Trumps and fucking Tate we're talking about, will they not have already just scooped up a bunch of supply on all of these political coins, and then they'll just flood the market with that supply when everyone starts to get hyped about them? When, like, if they've got hundreds of, like, I mean, there isn't even hundreds of millions of liquidity on this stuff, so they're not even gonna, I don't know, man. Like, you look at this like Tate coin, like there was this Andrew Tate coin. It was like, oh man, I burnt like $110 million of this coin. Like, no, you didn't. The coin's got fucking like $13 million of liquidity. You didn't burn shit. It's just all so stupid. US president sent to jail for rugging meme coins. Yeah, he'll like promote and promote and promote all these meme coins, and then he'll get into office and he's like, "Yeah, sorry guys, that's a scam. I'm banning it." Doge is holding well like ETH. Took a Doge position at the same time as Tower. What a difference in performance. Yeah, I mean Doge is, Tao's actually okay. Yeah, Tao's actually okay. I know I had a stop here, but that was a cautious stop. Maybe I can just try it again because I'm not getting any worse of an entry. I'll get in at a better entry because I was long from 300. So if I can long again at 290, just accept that little loss and try again. Ah, it's such a knife catch though. This is the problem. I'm like, I've been waiting for 300 and I really would like to get exposure at 300, but I don't feel confident enough to buy. Maybe I just go spot, just hold. Because I think long term, like, it's fine, right? It's all the way back down to like that first wave support. But what could happen here is it just, and I think what a lot of the market will do here is just this. And then if you're in like a long position, like, just what's the point? Go away, enjoy your summer, come back at the end of summer, everything starts to pump again. The issues that are plaguing the space now will have been long forgotten by that stage, hopefully, if everything keeps dumping, or if at least if things go quiet, because then if things go quiet, right, it's not just like endless, just lower prices, lower prices, lower prices, lower prices. It's okay, stability comes back in, but with stability that gets people bored. So right now the toxicity within the whole space is kind of helping some stuff because people are just trying to get money by any means possible from this market, because the traditional ways of extracting money from this market with the traditional rotations just have not worked. So now people are trying to extract money by like any means necessary. They're getting really angry with each other. They're getting really pissed off with the market, and maybe just some time where people are just bored out of it and just forget about it. Like, if stuff just stops moving for a while and it like doesn't give opportunities for like shorts or longs and things just chill and just settle down, Bitcoin just settles around 64 for a while, Ethereum just settles around here, Tau just chills out at 300, Solana just gradually bleeds away to 0 or to 100. That could be really, really, really healthy, and that could be what the market needs now. I think I'm starting to like that. I'm starting to like that idea. I mean, we've already been in a range for like since the beginning of March, but let's just keep it going forever now. Let's just make it boring. I don't know. Maybe. Ugh. Okay, I can't. So obviously, there's no financial advice on this stream at all. I'm literally just saying stuff that comes to my head, comes to my mind. But got any pointers for someone that's 1K from liquidation, looking for when to get back in on BTC? I can't handle these constant drops. Has me losing to fees trying to play it safe, drawing liquidation up. Like, honestly, I'd say if you're struggling to trade right now in these conditions, and I'm struggling to trade in these conditions, like, I mean, they're not really giving very clean trades anywhere right now, then just don't. Like, just close the trade. Keep that money safe, because this is the hardest it gets. This is as hard as it gets in crypto. This is as hard as I think I've ever seen it be. So just close the trade. Don't hope that it's going to somehow survive. And then just wait until conditions improve. Because you don't have to get in right at the beginning of when things start to trend again. You just have to be there when it's like, think back to October. You could have missed the first week or two of that run when things started to kick off again. And if we're going to go through something that looks like this again here, all right, like let's say we've just had this dump, right? Everyone was bullish. It didn't make those new highs. We're likely we're somewhere around here, right? So if we're somewhere around here, you could have missed this first part of the market, and then you could still get all of this to get back into. So you can chill out for the summer, right? Whilst the market just pisses about down here. And then you just get in and you start trading again once you get a clean break of those all-time highs. I know it feels ridiculous because you want to get in at 64K or whatever, and you want to ride this part of the move. But the thing that's going to happen is when this is the same thing. Like there's if you're long and you're comfortable, like for myself, and when we had this drop down here, when things were like correcting, it made sense to like buy here rather than waiting for it to come down here or waiting for it to come down here. And in the same way, it makes sense. Like if you've got the capital, buy, right? Be buying this. If you've got the capital available, then just keep on like adding to those long positions or buying spot positions. But if you're struggling and you don't have capital available, and if you found that these conditions have been chopping you up and been reducing your capital, so if you don't have external sources of income, if you don't have money coming in that you can put into crypto like regularly, I would personally just say your best bet is to wait until higher, which sounds counterproductive, but when it does go higher again, I think on the next occasion, if this does play out like this, you're going to get a cleaner break, and you're going to get a situation where we go into like a few months of just real nice uptrending price action again. And then you can just think about trading it one way. Like the thing is, you can't really short it here because we're all the way down here. we're below the midpoint of the range, we're below the POC. There's no point in shorting it, but maybe it's just a little bit too early to start looking for longs. Because like if you don't have capital, even if it does this and it starts gradually grinding up, are you going to be able to hold on to that trade for long enough? Or are you going to need to close out of that trade potentially at a loss because you have bills to pay? So just time could be a major factor here. It could stay at this price forever, or not forever. It could stay at this price for quite a while, and it could drop down 63. It could drop down 62. It could drop down 61. It could go even lower than that. You just don't. It's really hard to call right now. But just the fact that it's just slow and sideways and boring might mean that it's better just to stay away from it right now and wait until things do pick up. Because all you need to do is it's a percentage move. It doesn't matter if you catch a trade that starts, like if we get something that does this, right? And then pops to 88, corrects to 72, goes to 100. Would it not be better to get in like around here when we have another correction that's like this? Or to try and like, obviously this move is going to be like this, to try and get in on these, rather than just try and add here, like if you're low on capital. It would make sense to join the momentum when it starts, because when it does start again, it's not going to stop like immediately, is it? If you enter the trade comfy that you might get liquidated, then get it liquidated or win. Yeah. I mean, if you like, if your invalidation is liquidation, like sure. I mean, obviously you don't want that to be your entire portfolio, but if you are someone that maybe like splits into portfolios and you've got you're holding spot and you've got a bag in perps that you play with, and you've got a trade that you're adding to here, and your liquidation price is down here, like, go for it. But if you can't handle a drawdown on the trade and you don't like the way it's looking and you weren't expecting this price action and now you're just hoping the prices will bounce, then, yeah, I don't know. But it's at these stages, the other thing you've got to remember is when sentiment is at these lows, and sentiment is awful right now, that's the time where, if you can, like, accept the pain, take the pain, and you'll be rewarded from it afterwards. But yeah, maybe just wait for a catalyst, because even this bounce so far, like, you will know. I stream every day, so if there is a catalyst and things are like, oh, now's the time to get back in, then hopefully we'll spot that. Like, my personal plan, right, is I'm long from here, I've compounded here, I've compounded here. If it comes back down here again, I'm fucked. Yeah? But as long as it's consolidating around here, I'm okay. And I'm prepared to wait for this scenario. And that goes for like a load of altcoins and stuff as well. Oh man, I've been talking for a long time. I'm probably going to wrap it up here. And yeah, I'll do more of a... Yeah, I'll be live again tomorrow. Nice and early. We'll make it a bit more technical and stuff, but just as a general chit chat, this was nice. And yeah, we'll see what the market gives us over the next few days, few weeks, few months and stuff. So enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, I'll see you all again tomorrow. I don't think there's probably not much going to happen between today and tomorrow. So we can continue on with this conversation tomorrow. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.